The mining tunnels of Nexus 7 stretched deep into the planet's core like metal veins. Marcus wiped sweat from his forehead as he checked the ventilation systems in the lowest levels. The air was thick and humid, filled with the constant hum of machinery. As a senior engineer, he knew every corner of this facility, but today something felt different. A soft whimper echoed from behind a rusted door marked storage. Marcus frowned. No one should be down here. He pressed his ear against the metal and heard it again, a sound of pain that made his chest tight. Against protocol, he entered his access code. The door slid open with a grinding screech. Inside the cramped room, huddled in the corner like a wounded animal, was a figure he had never seen before. She was clearly not human. Her skin had a pale blue tint, and delicate silver markings traced patterns along her arms. But what struck him most were her eyes. Large and filled with terror dots, she wore nothing but torn rags that barely covered her thin frame. Her body showed signs of terrible treatment, bruises, cuts, and what looked like burn marks. When she saw him, she pressed herself further into the corner, trembling. "Please," she whispered in broken standard. "Don't hurt me anymore." Marcus felt sick. Who could do this to another being? He slowly raised his hands to show he meant no harm. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said softly. "My name is Marcus." "What's yours?" She stared at him with disbelief. No one had asked her name in years. I don't matter," she finally said. "I'm nothing. Just use me and leave." "That's not true," Marcus said, his voice gentle but firm. "Everyone matters. Everyone has a name." The girl, she couldn't be more than 20 in human years, looked at him like he was speaking an alien language. Kindness was foreign to her. After a long silence, she whispered, "Zara. My name was Zara before they took it away." Marcus felt his heart break. He pulled a nutrition bar from his jacket and slowly placed it on the floor between them. "Here, Zara, you look hungry." She stared at the food but didn't move. "What do you want in return?" she asked, her voice barely audible. "Nothing," Marcus said. "I just want to help." Zara's eyes filled with tears. No one had ever given her something without demanding payment with her body or suffering. She wanted to trust this human, but trust was a luxury she couldn't afford. Marcus stood slowly. "I have to go now, but I'll come back. Is that okay?" Zara nodded slightly, still watching him with fearful eyes. As he reached the door, she called out softly, "Why are you being nice to me?" Marcus turned back and met her gaze. "Because you deserve kindness, Zara, even if no one has shown it to you before." After he left, Zara sat alone in the darkness, holding the nutrition bar like it was treasure. For the first time in years, a tiny spark of hope flickered in her heart. Trust in the darkness. 3 days passed before Marcus could return. The mining facility demanded long hours, but every spare moment his thoughts drifted to the broken girl in the storage room. He brought medical supplies, more food, and a small blanket he had taken from his quarters. When the door opened, Zara was awake, sitting exactly where he had left her. The nutrition bar wrapper lay neatly folded beside her. She had made it last 3 days. Marcus's chest tightened at the sight. "You came back," she said, and he heard wonder in her voice. "I said I would," Marcus replied, settling down a safe distance away. "I brought some things for you." He showed her the medical kit and food. Zara watched his every movement, still ready to flee despite having nowhere to go. When he offered to tend to her wounds, she flinched. "I won't touch you without permission," Marcus promised. "But those cuts look infected." Slowly, carefully, Zara extended her arm. Her touch was gentle as butterfly wings as Marcus cleaned and bandaged her injuries. She had never been touched with such care. "How long have you been here?" Marcus asked softly. "I don't know," Zara whispered. "Time stopped meaning anything. The guard said I was cargo. property. They fed me just enough to keep me alive for sale." Marcus's jaw clenched with anger, but his voice remained gentle. "You're not property. You're a person." Zara looked at him with those large, haunted eyes. "Why do you care about someone like me?" Marcus was quiet for a moment. "I lost my family in the war on Europa. My wife, my daughter. After that, I thought I didn't care about anything anymore. But seeing you here, abandoned and hurt, I can't just walk away." "Your family," Zara said softly. "Were they kind like you?" "Yes," Marcus smiled sadly. "My daughter used to say that kindness is the only thing that makes us strong." For the first time, Zara almost smiled. "She sounds wise." "She was only 7, Marcus said. "But sometimes children see truth better than adults." They sat in comfortable silence. Zara pulled the blanket around her shoulders. "This is the softest thing I've felt in years," she admitted. Marcus visited every day after that. He brought books and read to her. He told her stories about distant planets and kind people. Slowly, Zara began to speak more. She told him about her homeworld, how slavers had raided her village when she was just a child. "They said my people were too gentle to resist," she said one evening. "That made us valuable as servants." "Gentleness isn't weakness," Marcus said firmly. "It's courage." Zara looked at him with growing trust. "I think I'm starting to believe that." The escape plan. Marcus discovered the truth by accident. He was reviewing shipping manifests when he saw Zara's identification number listed among cargo bound for the gladiator pits of Vega Prime. His blood went cold. The gladiator rings were death sentences, beings forced to fight until they died for entertainment. He found Zara that night, agitated and barely containing his fury at the system that could treat her as disposable. "We're leaving," he said without preamble. "Tonight." Zara looked at him with confusion and fear. "What do you mean?" "They're going to sell you to the fighting rings." "I won't let that happen." The color drained from Zara's already pale face. "The gladiator pits? But I can't fight. I'll die in minutes." "Exactly why we're getting you out of here," Marcus said firmly. He knelt beside her. "Do you trust me?" Zara studied his face. This human had shown her more kindness in 2 weeks than she had experienced in years. Slowly, she nodded. Marcus had spent hours planning their escape route. The facility's security was designed to keep people out, not in. The maintenance tunnels he knew so well would be their salvation. "We'll go through the old mining shafts," he explained, showing her a rough map. "They connect to the surface about 5 kilometers from here. My ship is hidden in the canyons." Zara touched his hand gently. "You could get in trouble for this. Why risk everything for someone like me?" Marcus looked into her eyes, and something passed between them that neither had expected. "Because somewhere along the way, you stopped being someone like you and became someone I can't live without." The admission hung in the air. Zara's breath caught. No one had ever valued her life before, let alone risked their own for her. "Marcus," she whispered, and for the first time she reached out to touch his face. Her fingers were soft against his cheek. "I don't know how to be free." "We'll figure it out together," he said. Covering her hand with his dot, they began their escape at midnight. Marcus had disabled the security cameras along their route, but they still had to move carefully. Zara stayed close behind him, her bare feet silent on the metal floors. The maintenance tunnels were narrow and dark. Marcus used a small light to guide their way, constantly listening for sounds of pursuit. Zara's breathing was quick with fear, but she followed without complaint. "Almost there," Marcus whispered as they reached the final shaft that led to the surface. Behind them, an alarm suddenly blared. Someone had discovered Zara missing. Marcus grabbed her hand. "Run!" They climbed desperately toward the surface as shouts echoed below them. Freedom was just ahead, but so was danger. Freedom and discovery. Marcus's hidden workshop sat in a natural cave system, camouflaged from scanners and prying eyes. Solar panels and a small fusion generator provided power, while a freshwater spring made the location perfect for hiding. Zara stood at the entrance, breathing free air for the first time in years. "It's beautiful," she whispered, looking out at the alien landscape. Twin moons hung in the purple sky, casting everything in silver light. "It's yours now, too," Marcus said softly. "Safe space. No one knows about this place except me." Inside the cave, Marcus had created a comfortable living space. Real furniture, a proper bed, books, and cooking facilities. Zara walked around touching everything with wonder, as if it might disappear. "I have real food," Marcus said, starting to prepare a meal. "Not just ration bars." As they ate together, Zara began to relax for the first time. The constant tension she had carried slowly left her shoulders. When she smiled, really smiled, Marcus felt his heart skip. "Your smile is beautiful," he said without thinking, then blushed at his boldness. Zara ducked her head shyly. "No one has ever called me beautiful." "Then they were all blind," Marcus said firmly. Later, when Zara winced as she tried to reach something, Marcus noticed she was still in pain from her injuries. "Let me help," he offered gently. This time Zara didn't flinch when he approached. As Marcus carefully checked her bandages, his touch was professional but tender. When their eyes met, something electric passed between them. "Marcus," Zara said softly, "when you touch me, I don't feel afraid." "How is that possible?" "Maybe because I don't want anything from you except your happiness," he replied, his hand still resting gently on her shoulder. Zara leaned into his touch, craving the comfort she had never known. "I need to tell you something," she whispered. "About what I am." Marcus waited patiently as Zara gathered courage to speak. "My people, we have abilities. That's why the slavers wanted us. I can feel what others feel, their emotions, their pain. It made me valuable but also dangerous to my captors." "Is that why they kept you isolated?" Marcus asked. Zara nodded. "Strong emotions can overwhelm me. But with you," she looked up at him with wonder. "With you, I feel peace." Marcus cupped her face gently. "What do you feel from me right now?" Zara closed her eyes, focusing on the warm energy radiating from him. Care, protection, and ... Her eyes opened wide with surprise. "Love? Yes," Marcus said simply. "I love you, Zara. I know it seems impossible, but..." She silenced him by placing her finger against his lips. "I feel it too," she whispered. "I've never felt love before, but I know that's what this is." Marcus leaned down slowly, giving her every chance to pull away. Instead, Zara rose to meet him. Their first kiss was gentle, tentative, full of wonder. When they parted, both were trembling. "I never thought I could want someone to touch me," Zara admitted, her forehead resting against his. "But I want you to touch me." "I want to touch you. Are you sure?" Marcus asked, his voice rough with emotion. "I've never been more sure of anything," she replied. For 3 days, they lived in perfect peace. Marcus taught Zara to cook, to read human texts, to laugh freely. Zara shared stories of her world and demonstrated her empathic abilities, showing Marcus colors of emotion he never knew existed. They were falling deeper in love with each passing hour. But their sanctuary couldn't last forever. The sound of ships approaching made them both freeze. Through the cave entrance, they could see bounty hunters landing nearby, armed and dangerous. "How did they find us?" Zara asked, terror returning to her voice. Marcus checked his scanner. "Someone must have put a tracker on me." "I'm sorry, Zara. This is my fault." "No," Zara said firmly, surprising them both with her sudden strength. "You saved me." Now let me save you." The bounty hunters were closing in. Marcus grabbed his weapon, but he was outnumbered 5-1. As they took defensive positions, Zara made a decision that would change everything. "Trust me," she told Marcus, then stepped out into the open with her hands raised. "I'm here," she called to the bounty hunters. "I'm the one you want." Marcus started to protest, but Zara's eyes blazed with newfound power. She had spent years having her emotions suppressed and controlled. Now, for the first time, she would use them as weapons. The lead bounty hunter laughed. "The little slave girl thinks she can negotiate? I think you should leave," Zara said calmly. Then she opened her mind and projected every ounce of terror and pain she had ever experienced directly into their heads. The bounty hunters screamed, dropping their weapons and clutching their heads. The psychic assault was so intense that 2 of them collapsed immediately. The others stumbled backward, their minds overwhelmed by agony they couldn't understand. "Stop!" the leader gasped. "Make it stop." "Leave this planet," Zara commanded, her voice ringing with newfound authority. "Never return. Tell everyone that Zara of Kepler 9 is under the protection of Marcus Chen, and anyone who threatens us will face the same fate." The bounty hunters fled to their ship, too terrified to look back. As their vessel disappeared into the sky, Zara swayed on her feet. Marcus caught her as she fell. "I didn't know you were that powerful," he said with awe. "Neither did I," Zara admitted weakly. "But when I thought they might hurt you ... She touched his face. "I found strength I didn't know I had." That night, under the alien stars, Marcus and Zara made love for the first time. It was gentle and passionate, a claiming and a healing all at once. Zara cried afterward, but they were tears of joy. "I never thought I could be loved like this," she whispered against his chest. "You deserve all the love in the universe," Marcus replied, holding her close. "What happens now?" Zara asked. Marcus looked up at the stars. "Now we make a life together. A real life, full of love and freedom and choice." "Together," Zara said, and the word tasted like hope on her lips. In the months that followed, they traveled the galaxy as partners. Marcus as an engineer, Zara as a counselor who used her empathic abilities to heal trauma in others. They helped people, they loved each other, and they proved that sometimes the most broken souls can create the strongest bonds. And in quiet moments, when the twin moons of Nexus 7 appeared in the sky of whatever world they called home that day, they would remember how love had conquered all their fears and set them free.